Right, game 2. It's YeOldDogg versus Jesper. This is YeOldDogg in the left position. Again, we're playing on green acres. This is Jesper in the top position, top right. The first game, YeOldDogg put together a reasonable number of marines to push across the map with, and Jesper held that push very, very convincingly indeed. However, later in the game, a poor engagement from the Protoss, and YeOldDogg came crushing back to take the victory. There was definitely successes in the last game, and there were definitely failures. Jesper did a very good job of striking a good balance between defense and sort of teching up and economy in the first game. So he was in good shape when the Marines arrived, was able to defend it relatively easily, and had a significant tech advantage. However, having defended it, he did seem to take his foot off the gas a little bit, and just kind of sat back and didn't really extend himself any further. As a result, the Terran player was able to accelerate and overtake him in terms of tech and in terms of production. And what we saw in the end was two much more even armies engage. There was definitely a good chance for the Protoss to hold the engagement. The engagement happened in this area. A lot of Marines had to be funneled through this narrow choke, and there were storms ready to go. However, the storms did not go off, and unfortunately the Templars did not really take part in the battle at all. Again, we see Jesper, the Protoss player, with this worker in the middle of the map, and I like that. Why wouldn't you have a worker just positioned somewhere forward to see what's going on? Top tip, put him in here, can't be seen. If he's in the bushes, he can't be seen. I mean, he can technically be seen, but he can't. Try it sometime, you'll see what I mean. Once he goes into the bushes, from your point of view, the bushes become see-through, but from the other player's point of view, they don't. So you can literally hide in the bushes. There is no sight through these. Or put him on one of these watchtowers, which gives you a large sort of radius of vision. Okay, this build looks different. We see a very early starport coming down for Jesper. So he has got the side core down, isn't researching warp kit. So is that because he's saving gas? I suspect it is. He is building the mothership core. Should you be playing against a Protoss and you're scouting a Protoss base, you can tell by these lights on the top of a Nexus that it's building a mothership core. Nexus doesn't normally look like that if it's building workers. A little thing, but... And there the mothership core is out, so you can see the Nexus no longer looks like that. That is the Nexus building a mothership core look. Again, we can see YeOldDogg is pumping out Marines, has gone for this five barracks wall. If you're building a wall, you've got to feel pretty safe behind it, so why not just chuck down an expo, a nice early expand. Can you hear me, Jesper? That's freakish. This time the worker is on the watchtower. Jesper is building an Oracle. Like it a lot. Now here's another top tip. If you're scouting a Protoss base, zoom in on the Stargate and you can tell what it's building, because you can see the silhouette of the Oracle in there. So if it's a Phoenix, you can see it. If it's a Void Ray, you can see it. If it's an Oracle, you can see it. You can tell what it is that it's building, which is unusual, because most of the time you can't tell what something is building. This gateway, for example, if I do the same thing, there is no indication that there's a zealot coming out of there. So a couple of little giveaways, a couple of little things to look out for. Should you drop a scan, should you send a worker in to scout, it is possible to tell what a Stargate is building, simply from that kind of pattern of light inside it. Interestingly enough, these Marines moving out at just the same sort of time as this Oracle is making its way across the map. The Oracle moves pretty quickly, will get to this worker line first. There are a reasonable number of Marines here, so this is bad times. Needs to micro this Oracle. That's not a bad choice, just get out of there. 6 Marines is critical mass, so that is enough Marines to kill the Oracle. You do need 6, I think 5 breaks even. 4 Marines will be killed by the Oracle. Let's see what happens here though. This mothership core can drop the overcharge, and with the overcharge this should be just fine, but you are going to want to drop that overcharge, because otherwise you're going to lose all of your units. Come on, overcharge, you've got all these pylons set up defensively, and there we go. That overcharge needed to happen a lot earlier. Had it happened, the third one was a waste. Had it happened earlier though, oh don't run it, no, don't do that. Had the overcharges happened earlier, you could have saved a significant number of those units. Arguably you could have saved all of them with a little bit of micro, and that would have made for a very efficient trade indeed. So this Oracle has regenerated all of its shields. Its mate is there to help it. You know, 6 Marines will definitely kill an Oracle. They won't kill 2. 2 Oracles will rinse through these Marines in pretty short order. So you're in good nick to just wait in there. Fleet beacon building for the Protoss, and you know, typically that only really means one thing. It means carriers. You know, Tempests are a very popular choice on ladder. I know that the recent patch has kind of nerfed Tempests a little bit in terms of their range against ground, but they're still a popular choice, and for good reason. They still do have a very large range, and on a map like this with all this dead space out the back that ground units can't get to, you know, Tempest parked here can just like shoot your workers and there's nothing you can do about it. So yeah, why not? But I think it is going to be carriers. So Oracle now does get into the mineral line for a whole raft of free kills, and look, this is joyous. He's having a ball. He's just like, you know, he's going to be telling his mates about this later. He's just going to be like, yeah, I went around the town base, just killed 11 workers and then just went home, because that's how I roll, man. These Marines dispatched, you know, but it's all too late. A turret is what you need. YeOldDogg. Turrets are effective, and Oracles, you know, they're a superb unit at killing stuff, not so good at, you know, a bit of a glass jaw on the Oracle, so not so good at taking shots from a turret to the face. Okay, so this expo is up, but not mining just yet. Workers being transferred by the looks of things, all good, like that a lot. The fleet beacon is finished. You don't need a fleet beacon to build Void Rays, so why did you build this? Come on, let's see the units that this is for. Let's see, you know, whether it's Tempests, carriers. Let's see what it's for. If you're against a Terran who appears to favor Marines, then I don't know about Tempests. Tempests have a lot of range and they do a lot of damage, but you know, Marines win by numbers. They're very cheap, and they're pretty expendable. Carrier is probably the choice against these Marines just for the sheer DPS. Oh, another run-in. This time there are some Marines there to, oh, I like it. Oh, I love that. Oh, the cheeky, just cheeky. The Marines are there, but I'll just nip in and bag 2 SCVs anyway. And then I'm over here as well. I'm everywhere. You're not going to be able to sleep without seeing me in your dreams. I am everywhere. I kill you here, I kill you there. This is absolutely critical damage that the Protoss has done. Look at this difference in income. Absolutely critical. So here we've got an Oracle with 16 kills. Here we have an Oracle with 13 kills. No, don't get greedy. You know, sit back and relax. The damage is done. You have done your job. You have absolutely stymied the Terran economy. Oh, Terran, no, think about what you're doing for a second. You've just lost all of those workers. You need every mule you can get. Look, you've got 10 minerals in the bank. You know, think about how much a mule mines in its lifetime. It's hundreds of minerals. You've just spent a couple of hundred minerals on dropping a scan. I don't think that was a wise choice. I would, you know, honestly, I'd have rather seen just send a Marine across the map, a suicide Marine, to walk up the ramp to see what's there. You also really need to get this command center set up to an orbital bit. But more than anything else, you need workers. You need to build workers. So these Marines that are parked out the front, you know, really, why are they there? You've got a wall. Have them in a position where they can totally defend your mineral lines. Make sure that this Oracle can't sneak back in, and you know, this one could just come around this side, pick off these two relatively easily. And in the current state, that's actually 2 is not a percentage of your workforce that you can afford to lose. So let's look at the workers killed tab. 29 in total. Oh man, it's hard to see how the Terran can make this work from here. But with all of that said, the Protoss, and another scan. You know, these scans are not free. Bear that in mind. They're not free, especially if you are short of workers. These scans are costing you a fortune, YeOldDogg. Yeah, as the Protoss player, you know that you've done huge amounts of damage. So the key is, don't sit back and do nothing. Don't just think, oh well, I've won, and then do nothing. If you do that, you're leaving yourself wide open to actually your opponent just making an almighty comeback. Macro hard at this point. Look at the money you've got in the bank. Drop a third. You know you've got an economic advantage already. Get a bigger economic advantage. Is that more workers killed? Possibly one more, was it? Oh, can he have a little nip in here? He can. Oh no. Oh, so cheeky. Look, 3 health. Oh man, what a legend. Rank master, but really it should be rank legend. Now these tempests are coming around this way. Perhaps Jesper suspects his opponent has a base here. He doesn't, Jesper. If you did think he had a base here, once you find out that he doesn't, that should really be the green light to just wade across the map and wreck this. You know, you need to, if you know that you're ahead, you know, the key is to really press your advantage. And if your advantage is economical, well then turn your economy into production, and feel free to trade. You know, there's a whole bunch of Marines here. They can dole out an awful lot of damage, but the difference is, if you were to trade evenly with these Marines, you can afford to replace your army. Your opponent cannot. You know, so it's worth thinking about those things. To be honest though, we're getting into the finer points of StarCraft now, really, aren't we? It seems to me that our players are getting the hang of the basics of this game, and the basics are mine stuff, build stuff, kill stuff. You know, and we're definitely seeing that happen in these games. We're seeing back and forth, we're seeing action. We're not seeing players just sit at home and wait to die, and this is just superb stuff. So the third base does come down for the Protoss player. Bunch of pylons. I'd love to see, well, both of these players really getting some upgrades. I'd like, oh no, you see more workers killed. This is just horrible. This is just horrible, and no reaction, or at least a very late reaction for YeOldDogg. 23 workers killed. Oh, that's uncomfortable. You know, that's pretty horrible. I don't know if you can come back from that. I just don't know. A lot of scans going down, so he knows the skill of his opponent's army, and his opponent, to be honest, needs to be a bit careful. Do these guys have stim? They don't. YeOldDogg, some upgrades really could do you the world of good. If you are going to march across the map, take this tank. You know, the threat in your mineral line here is from air, and the tank can't help you. So if you're going to march across the map with everything. Get all of the workers. Don't do this half-assed, because you know you will get beat if you do it half-assed. These 4 pylons could really come into play here. The mothership core, you can see that photon overcharge costs 50, and the mothership core has a total fully charged of 200 energy. So 4 photon overcharges. Yes, they were early, but you know, the damage output from that is so brutal. These tempests will one-shot Marines. These Marines don't have combat shield, so you know, it's this army just isn't going to cut it. I'm afraid it's just not going to do it. Look, you know, the tempests, the Marines just can't get rid of them. Yeah. What's this? Is this going to be a time? What was that? Oh, that was the disruption blast. I forgot about that. Yeah, weird. It's just not something that gets used that much. Meanwhile at home, these Tempests have cleaned out stuff over here. 10 kills. Oh god, no, 20 kills. That's depressing, isn't it? That's very, very depressing. I've got to be honest, you know, if I'm the Terran player right now, I'm thinking, GG. You know, you've got an income of sorts, but you know, we're 15 minutes in and your income is 400 minerals and 0 gas. In terms of army supply, not great. Your opponent has an army that you can't really tackle. This game is, bar a miracle, this game is over. You know, I don't know what these guys are up to. Yeah, so YeOldDogg, you know, it's worth mentioning that if you go for a 5 racks build, if it doesn't work, you've got to have a backup plan. And to be honest, all too often you're in second place if your 5 racks push doesn't work. So arguably the best option for you if you push with 5 racks and it doesn't work first time is just to push again and again and again, and maybe you'll wear your opponent down with your just, you know, insane marine production, and win, or you won't and you'll lose the game. Stay at home, and you know, there's a pretty good chance that your opponent will simply be able to accelerate away from you. But you know, let's not overlook the real game changer in this particular game, because it was these guys. It was this Oracle with just silly kills. I'm not even sure I want to know what the units killed tab looks like now. 73 workers killed, and look, these Tempests escape. Jesper, you're a legend at keeping these air units alive. That's absolutely stunning. You're going to want these in hold position so they don't chase them. Yeah, that's the danger. Chase the Marines and the Marines can turn around and come at you. But these Marines don't have stim, so, you know, they're not even that quick. Yeah, he is good at keeping these things alive, isn't he? That's absolutely that's the sign of legendary stuff, isn't it? When all of your Protoss units have still got shields, but you know, they've all taken a little bit of hull damage. That's what it's about. This is what it's about. 3 health left on this, just chipping away at this. But really, Jesper, you know, while all this micro is fantastic, you're not building a single thing, are you? And in terms of army, you know, why don't you just walk across the map and end this game? You know that you've absolutely annihilated your opponent's income, so you know that he can't be building anything. You know that you saw off pretty handily his last push, so you know, look, all these Marines bruised, man, bruised. Yeah, so why not simply march across the map and end the game? And indeed, that is what's going to happen. So a lot of Tempests, a whole fleet of Tempests, which will end this, won't they? I can't help but feel that YeOldDogg will GG when he sees this lot turn up. But don't muck about, Jesper. Just literally grab everything, you know. Why? Just bring the whole lot, bring the whole shit, bring the workers. Why not? You know, what is there to approach you? Literally nothing. Yeah, so that's it, man. That's it. The power of that Oracle. I don't know why you're turning and running. You can look. You've got the same number of Tempests almost as he's got Marines, you know. And trust me, 1 Tempest beats 1 Marine by quite a margin. So you don't need to run. You don't need to run from anything that the Terran can throw at you at this stage. You know, that's it. That's it. So it goes to 1 game apiece, and you know, both players looking to be on pretty good form. Jesper looking pretty dominant in that game. In the game before, we saw the, you know, chinks in his defense, however, and YeOldDogg looking very solid with this 5 racks opener. So I'm quite excited to see what happens in game 3. Let's do it.